You ever wonder what's actually going on inside the mind of someone who's, exceptionally sharp? Well, forget the test scores and the fancy degrees for a minute. We're going to go deeper. We're going to look at the unconscious habits, the actual operating system that defines a truly intelligent mind.
Now, this isn't just me talking at you. Think of this as a little self-check-in. As we go through these 10 habits, I want you to keep a mental scorecard. See how many of them just feel familiar. I think the results might actually surprise you.
And here's the thing. The real key here is that we're looking past the surface level stuff. These aren't study tips you can just pick up overnight. No, these are the subtle, almost automatic ways that a sharp mind interacts with the world. So, you ready to see how your own mind stacks up? All right, let's dive in. First up, let's go internal. We're talking about the thought processes, the self-awareness, basically what happens behind the scenes when it's just you and your thoughts.
Okay, habit number 1, mental editing. You see, while a lot of people are thinking and speaking at the exact same time, a high IQ mind, they often just pause. Now, they're not slow. They are filtering, they're refining, running little simulations on their thoughts before they speak. So when the words finally come out, man, they land with precision. If that sounds like you, go ahead and give yourself 1 point.
So many people get really uncomfortable with silence, right? But an intelligent mind actually craves it. Why? Because the brain needs that quiet time to organize all the mental chaos, to connect the dots without new stuff constantly coming in. Silence isn't just empty space. It is a workshop for clarity. So, do you find yourself actually looking for those quiet moments? If you do, go on and add another one to your tally. Ooh, this might be the toughest one on the list. When things go wrong, their very first instinct isn't to point fingers or make excuses. It's to look right in the mirror and ask, okay, how did I contribute to this? That kind of brutal self-honesty, it's a superpower. It lets them just bypass the ego and get straight to the root of a problem, which makes growing and improving almost inevitable. If you're someone who instinctively owns your mistakes, chalk up another point. Okay, so that's the inner world covered. Now, how does all that internal processing actually translate to the outside world? Let's take a look at how this kind of mind tackles challenges and information head-on.
Sharp minds just don't accept things as they are. They have this relentless curiosity, this need to pull ideas apart and see how they work from the ground up. And this isn't about being argumentative for the sake of it. No, it's a deep need to understand the why behind everything. They argue to learn, not to win. If you're that person who is always asking why, well, you know what to do.
This one is like seeing the code behind reality. They are natural-born pattern hunters. Whether it's in data, in human behavior, or just in conversations, they just instinctively spot the connections and the trends that almost everyone else misses. And this is what allows them to predict what's going to happen next with what seems like, magic. But it's not magic, it's just high-level pattern sensitivity. If you find yourself seeing connections that others don't, that's another big sign. Have you ever found yourself mentally redesigning a clunky website? Or, reorganizing the chaotic checkout line at the grocery store in your head? They see inefficiency in the world, and they feel this natural pull to fix it. And it's not arrogance. For them, solving a problem is just fun. It's a mental playground. If you can't help but mentally optimize the world around you, go ahead and add that point. People often call this overthinking, but there is a massive difference. Anxious thinking just goes around and around in circles. This is thinking in layers. It's like mental chess, playing out scenarios 10 moves ahead. You imagine every outcome, you patch every potential hole, and then you boil it all down to one simple, elegant solution. That's strategic depth, not anxiety. If your so-called overthinking is actually strategic planning, well, that is a powerful habit.
All right, so we've covered the inner world and problem solving. Our final set of habits is all about the personal operating system. How these minds manage their energy, their learning, and their interactions with other people. Okay, this is a huge shift in how you think about productivity. Most people manage their time, right? They schedule blocks of hours. A high IQ approach is to manage your cognitive energy. They know when their peak mental states are, that golden window of deep focus, and they protect it fiercely. They know that 1 hour of peak focus is worth way more than 4 hours of being distracted. If you schedule your day around your focus, not just your clock, that's a really key indicator. So they don't just read a book to say they finished it. Nope, they read to get new tools for thinking, what people call mental models. And that's exactly why they'll jump from a book on philosophy one day to learning about computer code the next.
It's not random. It is cross-training for the brain. Intelligence grows from the variety of what they learn, not just the volume. If your reading list looks like a totally random collection of topics, you're probably cross-training your brain. And here we are, the final and maybe the most crucial habit. The real sign of genius isn't using a bunch of big, complicated words to sound smart. It's the ability to take a deeply complex idea and explain it so simply, so elegantly that anyone can get it. This is where that raw intellect meets high emotional intelligence. It's not about showing off how much you know, it's about empowering other people with that knowledge. If you take real pride in making complex ideas simple for others, give yourself that final point.
All right, pencils down, it is time to tally up. We've just walked through all 10 of the unconscious habits of a high IQ mind. So how many points did you end up with? Let's do one quick final review.
So here they are, all 10 laid out. Talk less, think more, sit in silence, brutally honest with themselves, question everything, obsess over patterns, solve unasked problems, think in layers, not circles, manage energy, not time, read differently, and know how to sound normal. How'd you do? Drop your number in the comments. I'd love to see it. It's fascinating to see how many of us share these same ways of thinking. And here's the most important takeaway from all of this, whether you scored a 3, a 7, or a perfect 10. If you recognized yourself in even just a few of these, please don't downplay your own intelligence. You don't need a piece of paper or an award to tell you how your mind works. Your habits, they're already telling the whole story.
Because in the end, it all comes down to this. The real question isn't about the raw horsepower of your brain. It's about how skillfully, how consciously, and how effectively you use the incredible mind you already have.